Hello. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Welcome to what will be episode number 21 of Girlfight.
The best age.
If you don't know what Girlfight is, it is a weekly podcast put together by the lovely ladies that you see in front of you who make up the female contingent of the editorial staff at IGN. And we started a podcast.
All 4 of us.
just counts.
I'm hardly ever there anymore, so.
Yeah. So we started the podcast because none of the other podcasts at IGN were talking about anything that we cared about very much. No offense, Greg Miller. Yeah. It might be nice to have a female voice pop in here and there. So that was the idea behind it. So we're going to start off just by introducing ourselves briefly, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, and then we'll pop into a topic. So my name is Nicole Tanner. I am an associate editor at IGN. I have been in the game industry more than 8 years in various roles, from editorial back at Game Now, back magazine, and then I also did some PR and marketing for Foundation 9 Entertainment, and freelance for our dearly departed Green Pixels before coming to IGN. So that's me. Dana?
Hi, I'm Dana Jungle Ward. I have been writing about games for about 9 years now, and the guy who actually hired me into the industry is sitting halfway back over there. Hi, Jeff. Hello. I've worked at Computer Gaming World and Official PlayStation Magazine and the dearly departed GameTap editorial division before coming on to IGN to start Green Pixels, and now working on a bunch of other things at IGN as well.
I'm Megan Sullivan. I'm the games database editor at IGN. So all the information, when you go on IGN, you look up like when is the game coming out and how much is it, the game description, what awesome features. That is what my boss Mark Nix and I do. We put that in for you. That's it.
How long have you been playing games?
Since I was 4, so for 20 years, sure. Yeah. So you're right. I'm sorry. I'm younger than that.
We all know I'm the baby.
Yes. Christine's not going to let go of that title anytime soon.
No, which is a good segue to Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Steimer.
You should get a cheerleading section.
Greg Miller was at the head of it. That was cute. All right. Thanks for getting that on camera, Scott. I'm not the games content planner anymore. I am now an associate editor at IGN.com. Before this, I started at Edelman, doing public relations for Microsoft Game Studios. So I'm a little bit of an expert, but not really. I'm starting to love my PS3. Because that guy. But, yeah, that's... my favorite game ever is Mass Effect, so the N7 shirts, love it! Jess?
So I'm Jessica Chobot, and I host pretty much all of our on-camera stuff, and when I'm not busy sticking my fingers in Christine's mouth, apparently. I also actually started, I'm about 5 years into the business right now. I actually was a freelance writer for a long time for Brian Crescente's private site, and then eventually moved my way over to IGN Insider, and then from IGN Insider into video.
Cool. Awesome. So, the topic that we're going to touch on just briefly, very briefly, believe me, because we were kind of like, I don't know if we want to talk about this, because we want to hear all the questions from you guys. So, well, yeah, what did you call it? The most vagina-y topic?
It's very vagina-whiny topic. It is. It's vagina-whiny.
But it also happens to be the question that we get asked the most of anything, and that is, how do I get my girlfriend, wife, fiance, sister, mother,
female.
prostitute, female, into gaming? Exactly. I think you can pay those ones, but everybody seems to want to know that. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit briefly. So, does anybody want to start, or shall I start?
Go for it. Go for it. I think you should start.
Okay. So I have kind of a weird gaming history. I gamed a lot when I was a little itty bitty kid on the Vectrex and the Atari 2600. But as I grew up into my teen years, I kind of had a drought. You know, playing games wasn't the cool thing to do if you were a teenage girl back then, without giving you my age.
Oh, sorry.
Yay! That's number one for me. But my husband is actually the one who got me back into games, and there's a lot of advice that could be learned from him. And he was very careful in picking out games that he thought I would like, and that were not too complicated. One of which being The Sims, which he got me for a PC, and I played and played and played and played and played. And then, you know, eventually we moved to other things like maybe a Mario Party or Zelda on the N64. But the point is like, I was never just tossed a controller and asked to play a deathmatch in Halo, which is the worst way to get your girlfriend into gaming. So my advice on this topic is you have to find out what she likes, coax her along gently to maybe where you would want to be, but also be willing to compromise.
I really think about the controls.
Yeah.
Controllers, as another one who I didn't play games growing up, and controllers are scary as hell. And about a year before I started working, actually no, it was like 6 months, I held a PS2 controller for the first time, and I had no idea what the hell any of those buttons did. And I actually died on my way to the training area in a Star Wars fight game. I didn't even make it to the training area. So if you don't know what you're doing with a controller, they're terrifying. And so just keep that in mind.
Well,
so
I think that's a really good point because, you know, back when I was playing with Atari 2600, I mean, although now when you think back to when you were starting to play as a kid, the games, I wouldn't really call them easy. I mean, at any time you sit there and pick up like an old Zelda, you know it's not easy. But as a child, you had all this time to just invest in it. And you know, you really had some basic controls there. So just kind of keep in mind that you can't just toss somebody into the deep end of the pool. I mean, if you can, great, fantastic. And if they're willing to learn that way, you know, and tread water for a while, good for them. But I think, you know, just remember what you liked as a kid. And just kind of respect that sense. Oddly enough, I actually went through a drought period too, so where I played a lot when I was a kid, and then I hit college and I didn't play at all. And then my husband got me involved in gaming at the time because I hated him and I wanted to get away from him. So I went ahead and played as much World of Warcraft as possible.
So maybe that's another way you could get your
So also get married. Marry someone you don't like. I really love gaming. Awkward.
I hope not. It's a really good thing also is like, I went to a party and they were playing Guitar Hero or something like that, and that's a game that everyone can play, and as long as you're patient, you don't insist on someone to try like the hardest mode possible. If you let them sort of start easy and stuff, that's actually a lot of fun, and that's a great way to get someone into gaming, because that worked with me, where I went to a Halloween party at someone's house, and I was really intimidated, you know, by all the games, and they started playing Guitar Hero, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. It was actually really, really fun, and sort of like was one of the things that got me back into gaming. So things like Guitar Hero and stuff like that, like that's a really good thing too. It's sort of a party game.
Scared.
Were you?
Yeah, I don't want to look stupid in front of everybody.
Yeah, but as a party game, everybody's looking stupid.
That's true. If I was drunk.
Yeah.
I should mention parties
You go to where they don't drink.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I went to those parties
for a while. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I just have a similar story to you, Nicole. You know, I played a lot as a kid. Then I went through the drought mostly through high school because I was a theater kid, and then college because I, you know, had to study and stuff. But then when I got my job...
Wait, you studied in college?
No. But then I got back into it when I got my job at Edelman working for a game company. Obviously, you sort of need to try the product out. So I actually learned on Viva Pinata, and it was great for me because it's such a slow-paced game that the controller, which is a scary thing, you can sort of learn it at your own pace. Whereas like a shooter or something that's more fast-paced, you're like,
where
oh,
time
crap.
actually matters and
Yeah.
reflexes matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was something that sort of helped me out.
Right.
And then I was able, I think from then I jumped right into Mass Effect, actually.
Yeah.
The thing that got me into that was just, I was a big reader, so the story there was really good, and that's what kept me interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other flip side, you know, basically what we've been saying is if you're in a relationship where the person is open to trying video games, then all of this advice should work very well. However, if you're in a relationship where the person thinks video games are the scourge of the earth, you still might be able to convince them. There are a few things that you can do in order to make that happen. One of which is be extremely cognizant of how you behave when you are playing.
Yes, don't go to Halo Deathmatch and try to kill your girlfriend over and over and over.
Yeah. Or even when you're playing by yourself, if you are getting frustrated, if you're throwing your controller, if you're screaming at the screen.
Don't touch the monitor.
So much.
Yeah. I mean,
scream
yes,
really bad.
it's totally fine in a household where you all do that. But for someone who doesn't game, walks in and sees you throwing a fit, and that doesn't
it doesn't
look
look
fun to
fun.
them. Like, why
though
would
it
they
is.
want to try that? So be cognizant of that as well. And then also, you know, sometimes you gotta compromise, you know?
Not only that, I would say go for something, this is going to sound really stereotypical and I'm sorry, something with a cute art style, totally pull them in. Yep, anything by the behemoth,
Yeah. iPad, before becoming an iPad.
Something cute.
iPad creeps me out.
Come on, Chi-Chi!
Looks like Ryan Clements.
No, but it's cute! That's a compliment.
Yeah, it's a total compliment.
If Brian Clements had a tail.
But going back to my point about party games, so if you have a console, it probably came with something like, when I got a Wii console, it came with like Wii Sports and stuff like that. And some of those games are actually pretty fun. So you can easily get anyone into that because basically you're just sitting there like tossing your controller around and like bowling and tennis and stuff like
Don't
that.
hit the other player, I've had that happen.
Yeah, and make sure the wrist strap is on tight because I watched this guy see that, what is that show that sells things like on TV? Can I be more vague?
Home shopping?
Yeah, the Home Shopping Network. They actually had a guy trying to demonstrate the Wii, and he broke the TV because his Wii remote flew into the TV during a live demonstration, and the woman next to him started laughing hysterically hard. Basically, it was like, well, I'm not getting that.
It's not as funny when you get hit in the arm and then you're bruised.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, but.
Who hit you, Christine?
Oh, that was a drunk game of Wii in college.
Oh, okay. I just,
My God.
just wanted to make sure
you had a
it
Wii
wasn't
in
served
college.
someone in the
I'm
audience.
25.
I was going to say, wait, what?
Thanks. Now I
Okay.
feel really old.
Well, that's the extent, I think, pretty much the extent of our advice on that topic.
Yep.